G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Tesla heavy cannon, not to be confused with a Tesla cannon from Fallout 4, Creation Club, or Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Not the shoulder-mounted one, this is different. And the best way to describe this is, let's just say, a Tesla rifle mated with a Gatling laser, because that's what you've got here. It's like a Tesla rifle and a Gatling laser together. So it'll be a huge ammo capacity, high rate of fire if you've got it set up properly, fusion core fed heavy weapon that fires lightning bolts. Very, very nice. Cool design, cool meshes and textures. Models and textures maybe would be the better term to use there. But very nice work. Good looking thing. Let's get started on the attachments. And for the receivers, we've got the same here as we have with a standard Gatling laser, really. So the best damage would be an overcharged capacitor. But if you wanted to get the most critical damage out of this thing, then we'll go for a boosted photon agitator. Now, there's a particularly good advantage to using criticals with heavy guns like this in Fallout 4 that you don't get in Fallout 76, so I'll be endeavoring to do that because I need to show that off, because they did us dirty in Fallout 76, like on a great many things, but you know that's just one on the list. Anyways, we'll leave this on the overcharged capacitor for the best damage, taking it to 169 giggity. And we've got the light barrel installed right now, which has the best fire rate, but at the cost of range. Standard barrel reduces the fire rate, but the range is much higher. Really, you don't have to worry about range all that much on a weapon like this, because the Tesla bolts, or the lightning bolts, they don't actually go that far at all. So range, as pertaining to VATS accuracy only, is somewhat limited in this weapon anyway. So that's something to consider when you're crafting your own version of these or upgrading it. And this one is an armored barrel, which will severely reduce your rate of fire. Think of it as like a charging barrel out of a Gatling laser. You get a whole lot more damage and a whole lot of range out of it. But for what? Severely less rate of fire, which means potentially less DPS? Yeah, maybe. Got a heavy barrel here, which will do the same thing. It's statistically identical. And medium barrels, which will do the same thing again. I guess they're just three different variants of the same thing, depending on what you want to choose, is depending on what you want to get. So I guess a cosmetic change there. So 3 barrels, that's fine. I'm going to leave this on the light barrel because I want this to be the shooty rate of fire version. And we'll move on. We'll go for a reflex sight here. It doubles up on reflex sights for some reason, but that's just the standard reflex sight that you get from the Tesla rifle in the Automatron DLC, so nothing really new there. And a legendary slot is there if you want it, which we will be leaving out of this. But wounding would be potentially potent on this, indeed, yes. But we'll leave it off. I'll show you where to get the Tesla cannon in your game. Alright, so we're inside the National Guard training yard. Map reference is here. We've got the island Nahant over here. And then we've got Fort Strong and the airport. There's County Crossing, Finch Farm, the Slog right there, Breakheart Banks. We're in this neck of the woods, and what you want to do, firstly, is go up these stairs. Mine for feral ghouls. If you are low level, they might cause you problems, but these guys are little babby level ghouls, so we don't have to worry about them. You'll find a password in this particular desk. Use that to go down here and hit this terminal. And then go through this door after that. Then connecting to the recruitment center is the barracks, just by going into the Outer Commonwealth again. Mind the feral ghouls in here, they'll be around. Yep, there they are, they're screaming. So what you want to do is run upstairs. You can take out a few ghouls if you like. It's a good idea if you could do that. There we go. And then you'll find this army management terminal, which you want to hit up. And then you'll hit this and remote door unlock, and there she goes. So you can either do that or pick a master level lock outside the armory, but now that that's unlocked, we can go out there and get the weapon quite easily. So what you want to do is beeline it straight out to the door, which is here. Yes. Then after that, just hit up this terminal, just so all of the other world is sealed off from you. I think Bethesda put this here. So exit the thing when that goes up, and then this will be nice and open. Mind the turrets, they'll get ya. And now we're in, and a ghoul showed up. Get out of here. Thank you. And there's a bunch of tripwires, don't worry about that. We have many powers in the relation of sneaking. And then we've got to find out where the Tesla autocannon thingy is, and bound to be somewhere in here. Using the password that you got upstairs in the first recruitment center, you can open this up. And we're in. And there's a big scary ghoul in here. He's pretty high level compared to the rest of them, so look out. And there you go. There's your Tesla heavy autocannon. And also this one. That's a different mod though. I should probably get around to doing that because that is a very cool mod. And we'll take that and then we'll get out of here. Worth mentioning that you will summon a big sentry butt when you do this, but I've got robotics experts, so I'm going to plug me Pip-Boy in here. You can go to sleep now, my man. Goodbye. And now we can finish the baby turrets off in peace. Yeah, we're a little bit too strong for these enemies here, and it shows. Including those feral ghouls who ran to cover inside. And that's awkward. Look at the flex. That's more flex than a Hilux right there. Oh, they got out. Lesson learned. Close the mag locks behind you. Less the feral ghouls will be... Oh, that's weird. His suspension resets every time I'm not looking at him. Well, he's going to wake up with a back leg wheel thing. Righto, we'll be starting off the proper fighting inside Gunner's Plaza, and just like I said, Gatling laser, it's got the reload, it's got the animations, the barrel spin up too, which there's no rotary barrel, so I guess they do that for reasons, but it's strong. You don't have to aim it, you can just sort of, I don't know, stare at your phone whilst you play and let the gun do the work. It makes the game pretty easy. That's for sure. We'll keep going with this one, then I want to whip out the second one that I made, because I think it'll be a little bit more interesting in how that works with gameplay. And I guess we'll just leave that turret. And like I was saying before about the range thing with this weapon, the lightning bolts don't go super far, so you're perfectly fine with using the lower range things if you're not worried about that's accuracy. Speaking of that's accuracy, this one's got a heavy barrel, and it's going to be pretty gnarly, I reckon. We'll get a gun-through streak going on, and look at that AP usage. Every single one of these shots is going to be a burst of 10. And we're getting some collateral damage there. We're not even shooting at that one, but they just sort of swept into where I was firing. Also, obvious Palpatine reference is coming. That is so strong. I think she's dead. She's dead, Ella. And a critical few. Okay. We are getting those arcing electricities, but that only happens when they're alive. So we'll go again here. Alright. Apparently, we're just really annoyed at gunners today because we're just going to continue shooting them. Luckily, you can exit outside of bats after you're done with it. And we managed to kill 2 there because... Yeah, okay. And look, I haven't even gotten to the criticals yet. This thing has the boosted photon capacitor. So, we could be doing a lot of good damage here. But just to give you an idea of what this thing is like without using VATS, it's strong. It's really, really strong. And it's got such a high capacity. It's so efficient on ammo. It's so powerful. It's one of the more powerful Gatling laser weapons I've used. And it's not even a Gatling laser. It's so strong. It's awesome. I love it. So that's about it for these guys. I guess we'll go and find some other things to kill. Bunch of super mutants around, probably. They'll need to go away. Alright, so what we'll be doing here is taking out a bunch of super mutants and going inside Fallon's apartment store. We've also got a random encounter with friendly Minuteman. And no opposition to them, so hopefully none of them will have to die on the trivial pursuit of science. And figuring out how much weapon damage I can get. So Super Mutant Warlords ain't no joke, and 2 bursts and that does them in, so we'll get some cheeky headshots here. Very good. He goes down. That guy hasn't brought a weapon. Wonder if there's... Ooh, okay. So if you miss with this thing, you kind of just shoot there awkwardly for a moment. We can 1 burst them in the head. That's pretty good. I'm going to go over to this one that has got the overcharged capacitor on it. Yeah, in terms of efficiency, this is definitely not the best. It's not super accurate either, but It's strong when you need it to be. These headshots are massive. Oh, man. God, it's so strong. I didn't expect it to be this good. Righto, we'll switch back over to this one. You hear all the super mutants scream. That was kind of weird. And we'll see what we can do with a critical, because I haven't used it yet. There we go. Had to wait a moment for it, but good things come to those who wait. Alright, I think he's dead. I think he got him. And we got a minimal amount of damage on that guy. Now, I haven't been aiming this weapon at all. It's clear to me that the reflex sight doesn't work, but I have to assume that we're still getting all of the benefits from the reflex sight, so less AP, cost per shot, that sort of thing. Very useful for a weapon like this. Alright, let's see what we can do here with a critical close range. And we're getting a little bit of extra lightning, and that burst was cut short. Didn't have to go with all the 10 rounds, but yeah, it's completely annihilating these mutants. These guys generally like to be big old bullet sponges, and I actually thought that the charging barrel would only be useful for doing criticals, but it's proving me otherwise, I'll tell you that much. He thinks he has the high ground advantage. Not on my watch, buddy. When I've got lightning, it doesn't matter. And it looks like we get a lot more damage from these guys. Is that a radroach? Don't need you nipping at my ankles. That's annoying. It looks like the direct hits will do better damage. So, you know, despite it being a weapon that would be really good if you didn't have to bother aiming, it'll actually reward you for accuracy better if you're good on your shots, which I think is a great idea. That extra supplementary damage is for stuff that's just standing nearby. Anything unfortunate to be caught in the thing. And I was hoping I'd get to show that off a little bit with these dogs in here. Not a thing, though. Not going to be staggering me out of this. Also, another thing about the rotary barrels, rotary here in quotations, is that you can burst fire them. You don't have to wait for them to fully spin down, and you can run with them freely. It's very nice. Something Fallout 76 should do. Anyways, we'll keep going. Yeah. Feel the power of the Sith, but in fusion core form, and not hatred and rage-fueled emotionally thing. And we'll go for a bash kill here, why not? Never mind. 7 whole damage for bashing there. Can't help but feel underwhelmed after the kind of bash damage we'd get on other weapons, but it is what it is. Alright, so we'll take on the mighty Swan, and we'll throw a fresh core into this because why not? And then we're going to run up nice and close, make sure we've got our AP bar full. Oh, he's friendly. Well, you're not going to be in a second there. Oh, look at the god rays on him. Isn't that nice? Anyways, time to die. Actually, before we get started, let's throw a little bit of stealth into the mix, right? We'll have a first sneak attack critical burst. There we go. We got 1 round of 3.9 times damage there, so that's helpful. And we'll keep on going. Concentrated fire, we're getting about 879, but looks like the damage is only popping up every 2 shots. So 880, about 440 per shot with the critical, which is still a lot. We're still getting, what, 440 times 10. It's a lot. That's an approximate amount of damage. Probably a little bit less thanks to the way it rounds off. Because I'm not actually sure whether the damage number thing is super accurate, but it's pretty good. I think that's the camera is struggling to give us anything good because that was just a crotch shot. Just a straight up crotch shot. Didn't really need that. And it's causing interesting reactions in the player character there. I don't need to explain myself. You saw that. So we could, I guess, just finish him off this way, but we've got a full AP bar again, so we may as well make him go away as fast as possible. It's certainly a lot faster doing it without criticals. This should finish him. Surely that's going to bring him down. Well, that was a small critical there, but he's dead. And even still, he gave us a run for our money because we're very vulnerable there. If we didn't have anything in the way of the VATS damage reduction, we probably would have died or at least gotten into nerd rage, and then our damage would have went up by like 1 billion. So we would have got him regardless, but even still, that was close. Alright, let's see how we fare against a giant pack of bears. How could this possibly go wrong? It might go wrong in several ways. I'm kind of worried about the big giant bear, but we'll just have to outpath him and outplay the big bear. We should be right. Anyways, we'll begin. And we'll try to spread as much damage around as possible. Ow. Don't do that. And I guess we'll find a bear in the middle there and just sort of spread the love around. There we go. That's the stuff. Disintegrating bears all around him. That'll be good for our criticals. It's unfortunate that we don't get extra criticals per shot. There's the big one. We'll go away from him. Ooh, very useful staggers there, creating earthquakes among the bears. Question is, will the big one stagger like that? Probably not. He will launch in the air, however, which I find fairly amusing. And I guess the way to play this is to dodge him around the trees, because he's too big to fit through, but I can slip right past. Observe. See? Can take that shortcut. So I guess we could keep doing that if we wanted to be really cheap. Ooh. I mean, it'll be a war of attrition. We should probably just keep doing this the way I went against Swan. But just to give an idea of what this thing can do. We'll throw some criticals in here. Oh, that feels a lot faster than the previous barrel that I was using. For not as much damage, of course. Probably a waste of my good criticals doing it for this, but that's okay. We'll get them back. In fact, if you were going to using 2 of these weapons, which you won't be able to get unless they've set the weapon to respawn, you could potentially just use this one, or just any other weapon that's good at gaining criticals to get the criticals, and then immediately use the criticals for something else. We'll skip around you, mate. Hop on this. We are way too fast for you, buddy. And you might get yourself stuck there. I think he did. Yeah, he did. Alright, game over. Looks like we win. Death by pathing. It's not the first time it's done this. I don't even think we've taken a single hit from this monster. Although, when he's in a position like this, just like you wouldn't want to do in real life, is get too close to him, because one of his attacks will have him launch forward and do a whole lot of damage. I suppose what I should do now is regain my criticals, just in case I'll need them for the next monster. So, fire away. 54 on the shots. So, it's a stark difference. It's a huge difference, especially when we factor in the crits. We'll get about 1 or 2 back here. Definitely not the most efficient way to run your fusion cores, but potentially you could say we melted him, just like slowly. Like a microwave set to defrost melts cheese. We disintegrated him so bad that his ash piles, the remains of him, are lost forever. That's really quite weird. Alright. Guess we'll never see what legendary he dropped. Could have been something great that we'd never see again, but anyway. Okay, so here we are outside of General Atomic's Galleria. Hey, going, Lily? You good? Alright, cool. She's fine, still in the sweep and retrieve. And there's a big monster down there. It's a Stingling Terror. This little bastard's hard to fight because he's a lot quicker than everything else. And I don't usually fight these guys, but I think we've got the power to do this. And what we'll do, just to start off with, is just hit him with a massive amount of VATS criticals. We've got 3 because I ended up running into some gunners trying to figure out where to go. So we'll make use of this. He actually might go down a little bit easier than the rest of them because we've got the power here to do really well. In fact, he's already mutated. Since he's flying, he's light and therefore lightly armored and a lot of hit points, like a scout helicopter at a battlefield. When I get into an AA, they drop like bloody flies, much like the Stingling Terror in a second. Alright. He gets the Mace Windu treatment, lightning, and then a bit of a drop. And he gives us a Martyr's Heavy Synth chest piece. I'll take the mini nukes and run. So I think that'll be it for the Tesla heavy cannon here. It's been a fun weapon to use. It's a weapon that I don't think the niche of this weapon has been really covered by anything. Sure, you could use a Tesla rifle, but they're not really that great in this game. So for a lot of end game power for an energy weapon, this is probably one of your best bets. And it's such a light file on its amount of megabytes it'll take up on your thing, so I recommend it. It's well made, put together mod, really well focused, and it's all custom made. The imagination's there, and whether it's lore friendly, I think they said it's lore friendly, so yeah, it's good. If someone says it's lore friendly, I'm not an expert, I'm going to agree. And on that note, thank you for watching, guys.